Here we are going to learn what's utility? Types of utility. So let's get started. Utility is the basis for demand of a commodity by individual. In other words, utility is nothing but the quality of being of practical use. In general, there are two types of utility: Produc Utility and Consumer Utility. Product utility, it satisfies the requirements of a consumer. Consumer's utility, psychological feeling of pleasure from its consumption to a consumer. It is a post-consumption phenomenon. In general, there are mainly 5 types of utility. 1. Consumer's utility. 2. Total utility. 3. Marginal utility. 4. Cardinal utility. 5. Ordinal utility. Objective concept which depends totally on the consumer who consume it, because product has utility to actual consumer only. Example: meat has no utility to vegetarians. Utility varies from time to time. Example: woolens have utility in winter and no utility in summers. A commodity need not have same utility for same consumer at different times. Second utility is total utility. Total utility is summation of the utilities derived by a consumer from the various units of the goods at a point or over a period of time. Marginal utility. It may be defined as the addition of an extra utility to the total utility resulting from the consumption of one additional unit. Thus, utility derived from last unit consumed can be measured by change in total utility. It is proposed by Alfred Marshall. Suppose marginal unit is nth unit. Therefore, marginal utility is total utility nth minus total utility nth minus 1 equals total utility by change in quantity. Cardinal utility. Classical economists like Carl Menger, Jeremy Bentham, Leon Walras and neoclassical economists like Alfred Marshall believe that utility can be measured in quantitative figures just as height and weight. Here neoclassical economists coined the term util to measure the utility of any goods consumed. Thus util is a unit of utility. They assume that 1 util equals 1 unit of money, and that utility remains constant. Some assumptions for cardinal utility theory is considered there. First is rationality. It is assumed that consumer is rational in nature. He will spend his money on that commodity first which yields the highest utility, and last one gives the least utility. Limited money income of a consumer to spend on goods. Consumer tries to maximize his satisfaction on spending. Marginal utility of money remains constant. Whatever be the level of a consumer income, it is assumed that the utility gained from the successive units of a commodity consumed decreases as a person consumes them. Utility is additive. Un equals x1 plus x2 plus till x. Ordinal utility. Modern economists like Junior Hicks and R.G.D. Allen are of the view that utility cannot be measured in absolute figures. Utility can be expressed only ordinal, that is in order of their preferability. This known as ordinal concept, that is, a consumer may not be able to say that chocolate gives 8 utils of satisfaction.
Cardinal utility approach can be called as neoclassical approach, ordinal utility approach of Hicks and Allen can be called as the indifference curve analysis.
Assumptions of ordinal theory. Rationality, aim of maximizing total satisfaction. Ordinal utility. Consumer is only able to express the order of his preference for different products. Transitivity of choice. If a consumer prefers A to B and B to C, then he will prefer A to C. Consistency of choice. If a consumer prefers A to B in one period, he does not prefer B to in another period. Diminishing marginal rate of substitution of one good for another shown by the dx. This approach assumes that the dx goes on decreasing when a consumer continues to substitute x for y.